Hi, Sarah from The Upcoming. Such a pleasure to have you here with us at the festival. For people coming into the assessment, don't know anything, what can they expect?
They can expect a thrilling movie that touches on some very intimate themes about being a parent, wanting to be a parent, the potential of what the future holds for us. Yeah.
I guess at this point in your career, you must have your pick of scripts. What really jumped out to you about this one?
I just thought it was such an original idea, really bold in the way that it explores those ideas. And of course, my co stars were a big pull as well.
How did you approach the character? Were you doing any sort of like background research into this idea? What were you thinking about? How could you maybe relate to him? How could you not relate to him? What was your approach?
Well, I am a parent. I understand that feeling of wanting to be a parent, and I'm lucky enough to be one. But, these two really want to be parents. And they're living in a world where it's so difficult to have a parent because it's completely policed by the state. You kind of, you draw upon that feeling of how lucky you are to be a parent and how hard it would be if someone was putting a significant roadblock in front of your desires.
And what about working with your co-stars, the fellow cast? What was the atmosphere like on set? What were some of the highlights and challenges?
The atmosphere was always really collaborative and actually often quite fun. Which I really enjoyed because it is a film that touches on some very dark and very serious issues, and we have some very sort of dark and disturbing moments, but we also have some really funny moments and very playful moments, and they were both really great and a joy to work with. So,
do you have a specific moment that you love the most, or when you watch the film back now?
There's a really lovely sort of moment with Alicia's character early on in the kitchen. I don't want to spoil it, but it's a really wonderful sequence, and I think Alicia's, as always, incredible. And but also very funny, and I really enjoyed that.
And in terms of the genre, I mean, setting something that's kind of like a near future, I guess it gives an audience that bit of distance to be able to explore issues in a way that doesn't feel too intense, but obviously it can have so much resonance with the contemporary audience. So what do you think people will take away in that sense?
I don't know. It's hard to sort of kind of prescribe too much what people will take. I think they're definitely going to recognise ideas from the modern world, for sure. And also, it's such a personal story. So I think everyone will take away something different depending on their lives and who they are. I think it's a really beautiful story, and I think because it's so brave in terms of what it's choosing to explore, I think people will feel seen, I hope.
Like we were saying earlier, you do have your pick of roles. How do you go about choosing them, and have you got any itches left to scratch? What's left on your bucket list?
I have so many, and I have my pick in some degree. Yeah, I mean, I'm not underplaying that, but also there's a lot more that I want to do, and films like this are an opportunity for me to sort of explore what I'm capable of, and therefore also put something different out there. So then maybe people will see me differently, and I'll get different opportunities.
And what about being here at the London Film Festival? What does it mean to be here? What's so great about this festival for you?
It's an honour. I love this festival. It's the first film festival I ever came to, and I am honoured. I'm honoured, yeah.
Have you got your next project lined up, or you don't know yet?
I don't at this point. I've shot another movie over the summer called Bubble and Squeak, which I don't know what's going to happen with that. It's in the edit. It's an independent movie, so we'll see. Maybe I'll be back here this time next year. Who knows? But I've got a TV show called The Franchise that premiered in this room 2 days ago, which is coming out next Monday in the UK. So looking forward to having that out. They're a couple in a world where they have to go through a process called assessment in order to have a child, and so the state decides if they're fit to have children or not. So yeah, as you can imagine, it's a very difficult situation, but it's kind of what they're used to. So they sort of dive in and they end up biting off more than they can chew, I think. Yeah, of course. I was definitely drawing on my experience of having children, and it was also something that made me realise how lucky I am to have children. These two really want them, and it's a really a roadblock of a deep desire that they have. Yeah, they're both wonderful, and it was a real honour to work with them both. They're really so generous. Really just fun to be playful on set, and so committed and thoughtful about everything they do. And I think that's what makes them so special and makes them stand out in terms of, actors of their generation, actresses of their generation. I've learned a lot. Yeah, it was there on the page. And also it was there with Fleur's direction. Fleur's, a wonderful director. She's a visionary. She's sort of in touch with the sort of darker elements of it, but she's also someone with a great sense of humour and a real levity as a person. And I think that allowed us to be playful. She was aware of these moments that are absurd and funny in how absurd they are. So we're allowed to lean into those moments. The festival means a lot to me. It's the first film festival I ever attended, and yeah, it's an honour to have this film here and be here. I mean, stories are important. They always have been in the history of humanity, So I think cinema is perhaps the greatest form of it because it brings together so many different elements of storytelling. Yeah, you can expect chaos and fun and some great writing, some great performances. Yeah, I'm very excited to have it out here. I guess it's about listening to your kid, I think. The guy I played in Station 11, he wound up being a good parent despite not being a good parent. Yeah, I found that interesting. Yeah, I think just the sort of day-to-day chaos of being a parent, the sort of joy of it, but also the bits of it that are difficult. Kind of a lot of moments in this movie that encapsulate that experience. So.